From the outside in, London looks like a rich city with many different tourist attractions. What a lot of people don't know about are the large street gangs that control the drug trade in each borough, with a lot of these gangs being responsible for postcode murders, kidnappings, and tit-for-tat incidents happening between opposition gangs. The large gang presence in each borough results in London being named as one of the most dangerous cities in the world.
What's up, guys? Andrews here from Dealsourcing. So today's deal challenge is going to be a little bit different. Today we're going to look at London's most dangerous places. Some of them are known by the names of their rappers, such as Central C, Dave, and many, many more that I don't even know. A lot of the music is trap music, rap music, and so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a video as a base that shows you the most dangerous areas where different street gangs control the London neighborhoods. And then we're going to see whether we can use Dealsourcer, the app, to find amazing properties, amazing deals in those areas. So without further ado, let's go straight into it.
Molly Strip are a large street gang based around Leighton, which is based within the Waltham Forest borough of East London. The gang is split into two different sets, one being named El Tizzy and the other being named SJ. El Tizzy controls the E10 postcode and SJ controls the E17 postcode.
All right, I'm in the E10 Leighton El Tizzy area right here, so let's see what we can do. I'll put on my investor glasses and I'll see what I can find in El Tizzy's area. I hope I don't get shot over this video. All right, so first of all, let's turn off all of the leaseholds sold to subject to contract, under offer, auction, public notice. Might be a lot in an area like this. So yeah, you can see it's active, the area. We now have only 26 deals left. And if I leave all deal types on and I just concentrate on cash flow, I get a bunch of HMOs and single lets, surprisingly. So I'm just going to go with the first one here and have a look at that one. Well, it's overvalued. What would you expect from the hood? People know their price. You're not going to bargain with them easily. 575. It's not grossly overvalued, but it's overvalued. The ROI 3%. If you refinance and rent it out, the gross yield 8%. Yeah. Even without going into the numbers on the rents and the sold prices, I already don't like it. So I would skip that opportunity and leave that to El Tizzy. Next, what can we do? Maybe, maybe there's people that want to do some sort of, let's call it crime vacations, and they want to do a rent to SA in the area. Looks like that's not really the case. We can't find any deals. You need to change your filters or your location. Yeah, it looks like there's a nice circle around E10, El Tizzy, and SG, Walthamstow. Maybe rent to SA is an indication of the areas that you really want to avoid. So that's what it looks like right here. What else could we do? Maybe we could do negative equity. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, it's under offer. It's under offer. So I wouldn't really go for that. They're both under offer, so seems to be kind of a hard area. Okay, let's do refurbs. And let's see where we can make the biggest flip profit. The flip profits are around 10% of the asking price here, and that's not really that amazing. And if I cut out all of the subject to contract stuff, then we're even down to 3 deals only. Well, let's go into one of them. It all depends, I guess, on how much money you can make on this. What if we refinance and rent? So that's already bad. You're making negative cash flow. The asking price is 475. It's a little bit undervalued, but it's about at fair value. We can refurb it and bring it up to 618 based on the average price per square meter in this area for newly refurbished properties of 650. Let's look at our flat here. That's one messy El Tizzy. Yeah, yeah, it just looks old. It looks like somebody, you know, older who's lived in there for many, many years. That doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that you have to refurb it. It's a hoarder. Seems like it's a hoarder who's living there. Well, the fact is you'd need to bring up £208,000, which the refurb is 49 off with 529 per square meter in refurb cost. Sell it on for 47k. Flip profit. It's a possible deal. So I think that would be, if you're really up for a little flip in the Altissy area, E10, I think then that would be the best deal you can probably find. We can look at this one quickly. Yeah, you'd have to bring up even more money for less profit. So why would you do that? Probably you wouldn't. Okay, so I'll leave it at that. I think if you want to go and hang out with the Altissys, E10, Leighton, then I think the best bet you have is do a little flip deal here for 47k in profit. Let's move on to SG in E17, which is just above. Let's turn off the filters. Ooh, this looks way worse. For all deal types, we only have two deals. Okay, so that's pretty bad. Yeah, do they have a lot of filters on or something? Let's deselect all. We're going to get 9 deals. If I turn them on, there are 2 deals. Well, I don't know about planning permission. Let's just quickly check it out. Just on the face of it, it's vastly overvalued. Like by 12.5%. So SG are even more greedy than Altissy. So that makes this probably a difficult deal and probably an unprofitable deal. So I'll go back. Let's go into that single let. All right, so it's at a negative cash flow right off the bat. It's overvalued. Again, grossly overvalued. It's surprising that they're so overvalued. It's like by 10.5% overvalued. There's nothing to be gained from this deal. I can't see how you can make money. So that's terrible. I would just stay away from that, because investing is not about making a yes or no decision. It's about either or. So if I have the option to find a lot better deals, why would I go for these? So I'm sorry, Altissy and SG, E17 and E10, terrible investment areas. I guess nobody wants to live or invest with the gangs and close to the gangs in this particular case. So let's move on.
Peckham Boys are one of the largest and oldest gangs in southeast London. The Peckham Boys are based on multiple estates within the SE15 postcode, with the oldest generation of Peckham Boys going back to the 1970s, with them controlling a lot of the drug market in southeast London. They have had major beef with surrounding gangs, resulting in stabbings and shootings playing out in the streets, with the rivalry between Peckham Boys and the Ghetto Boys being the longest-running rivalry in the late 1990s. People would even start referring to Peckham as Pecknarm. This was a slang term combining the word Vietnam and Peckham.
Next up is the Peckham Boys, obviously in Peckham, southeast London. SE15 is the postcode. I got it here on the right hand side. Let's turn on some filters to filter out some crap that we don't want, and that would be don't show for all of this. So we're filtering down quite hard, and I'll do the little test I did before. Let's just see whether we can do some rent to SAs. And bam, again, we got the same picture as before. Nice little half circle around Peckham on north of the river area. So I can't really find anything. And the other question is whether there are restrictions and so on and so forth. So it seems like rent to SAs, not ideal for SE15. I'm sorry, Peckham Boys. Okay, let's go back to all deals. Right, I had a little look prior to recording this video, and I must say I found it again difficult to find anything in this area. You can sort on all kinds of measures. One of the first things I usually do is sort on ROI if I'm in a new area. And you can see it doesn't even show the little tag here. So that means most of these, if not all of these properties, will have a very low ROI. This one is marked. I saved it, so there's something going on there. I also looked for BMV. You do find quite a lot of below market value properties, and that is where I see the highest potential in HMOs that are selling BMV. So that's what I did, and we'll just go with that strategy for now. So I saw it on HMOs and I saw it on BMV, and you know, there's only two HMOs, and Peckham boys keeping it real. So if I click into the second deal, just for the sake of it, you know, straight away it hits you that you have ROI of 0%. And the reason for that is that you have to invest quite a large amount of money to get a hold of that property. And then it's yielding you 580 in cash flow a year. That's basically zero, could be negative. Your margin is so small. If you get it wrong on the rent, it means that you are going to make a negative cash flow renting out what is an HMO, and that's a lot of work for making no money. Yes, you can buy it 23% BMV, assuming that the value estimates that we're using here are correct, but then that doesn't do you any good unless you sell it on, and in the meantime you might lose money. So, you know, given that we're looking for obviously fat deals, we don't want to cut it close. That's not a go. It's a no-go. That's a no-go. Okay. On that first deal that I marked here, that is selling 24% BMV. So you're getting it for 800K, and it has a value of 992. If you just click into the images a little bit, well, that's not a great kitchen, but you know, it's an HMO. There's like refurb work to be done. So, you know, it might be selling BMV because it needs a refurb. So I wouldn't place too much hope on that BMV, but potentially, who knows? Okay, ROI of 4%, so you're making 11K a year in cash flow on a 255 investment. Again, like, yeah, you could do it. You might be able to take this property on as the HMO and rent it out and have a positive cash flow. And if you then in the meantime can look for another buyer and sell it for somewhere around that 900K mark after, let's say, doing a light refurb, you might be able to, you know, flip it, so to speak. But at 186 square meters, 186, I don't know what the refurb cost would be in this area, but let's go with a number here of 500 pounds per square meter in refurb. So you need to net off, let's say, that 90K. If you can sell it for 992, you might be able to lock in 100K flip profit. If you get it wrong, you might not be able to. So, you know, it's too close for me. It's too close.
Wood Green Mob is a large street gang based around the N22 postcode in Haringey, North London. Wood Green Mob has had major beef with surrounding gangs in North London. In the early 2000s, Wood Green Mob would have a dangerous conflict with the Hackney Boys, which was a deadly rivalry known to police. However, the current generation of Wood Green pretty much have beef all over North London. They have rivalry with NPK, OFB, N15, TPL DC8, Hornsey, Hoxton, and a few other gangs. Wood Green has been known as one of, if not the most dangerous street gang in London, with more than 10 members currently facing life sentences for kidnap, murder, torture, and other incidents within the streets.
Next up, Wood Green Mob. It's one of the most notorious gangs in London. Let's just quickly check out Wood Green. Wood Green is close to Finchley, north of Finsbury Park. I used to live in Finsbury Park as well. Not the best area, but not terrible either. So N22 is the hood. And one of the things, as I said, that I like to do is look for the rent to SAs in that area. And surprisingly, there is quite a few rent to SAs in Wood Green. So I don't know whether there's restrictions on rent to SAs in Wood Green. So I just did a quick background check on rent to SA deals in Wood Green. The problem is there is restrictions on these deals. If you could, which I don't think you can, then there would be good deals here, because like that deal, for example. So let's look at the pictures. It's not great, it's not bad. With a little bit of dressing up and a little bit of modernization, you could let this thing out. Yeah, 165 is what you make nightly rates. Here are the nightly rates of hotels and other short-term lets. 70% occupancy, you're in with 3.5k gross rent. Then you have all your fees, let's say around 1.5. Deposit, dressing up cost, that might be a little bit conservative, but still 5k. 6k all in, you're making a cash flow of 17.3k and an ROI of 282. Still 5 months payback period. Yeah, it's not a bad deal. It's not a great deal for renters. The problem is we have rent restrictions on short-term lets. One of the things that I would like to say is London, I think, is not an impossible area. It's probably something where you can do something with dev work, refurbs, and so on and so forth. But if you take off all of these restrictions here, and you go just for HMOs, yeah, which is a very standard type of property strategy, and you look at the ROIs, what you will find in London is that the ROIs, these are all sold subject to contract, so these are probably the better HMOs that are already gone. But if you take off all of those, just quickly, you get 22 deals, and the highest deal across all of London, yeah, which is somewhere here close to Croydon, is making you an ROI of 5%. So that's really not good enough. If you click into the deal, yeah, it's BMV, but again, does that really help you if your ROI is only 5%? I don't know. It's not great. I think London, and this is maybe like more of a strategy point of view, I think London is a really high-priced area where the return on investment, as you can see here in general, is pretty low. It's a sought-after city with a lot of influx of international workers, students, tourists, what have you. So naturally prices are high. And when prices are high, ROIs are low. So you need to really go into the more quirky areas like planning and refurbs and dev work. And I think London, as a general blanket statement, is a difficult market. It's a prime market, and what you really want to do is you want to not go into the biggest, most prime market. What you want to do is you want to find a gold mine area that's maybe 5, 4, or 3. If London is a 10, you know, then you want to go on the lower levels, and that's where you find more of the value, and that's where you find more of the higher ROI, higher yielding properties. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, subscribe, and also all of the other videos that I make are on our YouTube channel. Leave comments below whether you think the video is good, bad, or ugly, and if you have new suggestions, let me know. I'll try my best to make the video. Peace.